morning, everyone. My name is Ryan Hall, your athletic director here at Mayville State. I want to welcome you to another edition of the Comet Corner. Second one for women's basketball. I have Coach Hutter, head women's basketball coach, who's been absolutely rolling. Coach, thanks for being here today, and Happy New Year to you.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you as well.
We're at the midpoint of the season, and last time we chatted was preseason before the ladies got going, and you guys have been hard at it. A lot of games. I know you're practicing very hard, but sitting at 11-2, sitting at number 21 in the country, and I'm excited to see that new poll. We'll get into that with a little more detail later, but what are your thoughts on the first half of the season? And like I said, I know it's been a long one. Where do you think the girls are at, and what have you noticed?
We've talked about this before. This is a little bit different situation for the team this year than last year, and we've talked a lot about. But last year, you picked, was it third or fourth in the league? We kind of snuck up on a lot of teams last year, peaked at the right time, played really well, and were able to catch maybe some teams off guard. And this year, that's not the case. It doesn't matter if you're playing within the league, if you're playing outside the league. I think what the kids are finding out really fast is every night they step on the floor and play, they're getting everybody's best effort every night out. So they have to show up and play every night. And we've talked a lot about if you don't show up at this level, mentally as well as physically, you're going to lose. I don't care who you're playing.
Right.
So I think that's been a little bit of a challenge for them because it's a new approach. Showing up every day is not an easy thing to do. If it was, everybody would do it.
Right.
And it's hard to show up for 40 minutes, play really hard, be mentally in tune with what you're doing. When the other team only has to do it one night, and you're asking your team to do it every single night.
Right.
So that's been a little bit of an adjustment for them.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing's been a little bit of an adjustment for them is offensively, I don't think we've shot the ball as well as we shot the ball last year. We've got some kids shooting it pretty well right now. Mm-hmm. But I think there are some certain players that would like to see themselves play a little bit better. Mm-hmm. And it's the other thing we talked a little bit about was, listen, your game changes, so do coaches' approaches to you from year to year. Mm-hmm. If you shot it well last year, it might be tougher to get shots this year. If you're struggling to shoot the ball, you might get personneled or scouted a little bit more, and the kids have had to learn to adjust to that a little bit more.
Right.
And then just the overall, you got a bunch of seniors on the team. They all want to play really, really well, and on the nights that they don't play well, they understand the urgency because it's like one less game they're going to get.
Right.
And so sometimes they can press.
Yeah.
And they can kind of say, put it on my shoulders, and they can press a little bit more. I felt like we were kind of doing that at times during the course of the year up until about Christmas time. Mm-hmm. We were able to win some games. We had a couple of tough games there, in and out of there. But, for the most part, the kids offensively were kind of up and down. What got us to 11-2 was we've been defending all year long.
Yeah.
We're the number one team in our league defensively as far as points scored. We're number one defensively in our league in defensive field goal percentage, which are our two main stats that we kind of look at. Mm-hmm. And we told the kids, you don't know how well you're going to play offensively every night, so you have to be able to defend.
Yeah.
And our defense needs to travel everywhere we go.
Right.
And so we've kind of hung our hat on that. So we've won some games where we haven't scored it all that well, but we've been able to just lock down and defend. So I like where we are. Mm-hmm. I really believe since we've come back from Christmas, we've actually taken another step forward, in my opinion, just in the week and a half that we've been here, between the two games down in Sioux City that we were fortunate enough to play well enough to win both games, and then the practices we've had before and after that.
Right.
I think our kids have taken a giant step forward.
Good.
You've got one non-conference game left tomorrow night before you just roll into conference play, like we talked about in practice the other day. At the end of practice, this is what you've been working for all year long.
Absolutely.
You've been prepping all fall and all early in the winter here to get to conference play, which is going to start this weekend. So
absolutely.
11-2 is nice. 12-2 would be better.
Yeah, I figured you'd say that. And Coach, just looking at some of those wins, and you talk about the two losses. One to Jamestown and one, I believe, St. Xavier, who was ranked number 10 in the country. Went wire to wire, right down to the wire, and then Jamestown you split with this year. And Jamestown's receiving votes, good program as well. So you combine those games, and as and I know you'll say no such thing as a good loss, but you combine those two games to only being the two losses that are on your schedule, and then again down to the wire with St. Xavier, and then going like you just said this past weekend away from home and knocking off number 7 in the country in Morningside. And I know you're past that, and boom, now we want to get to 12-2 and keep rolling. But holy cow, like, what does that say for your girls to go away from home and get such a good win on the road against the number 7 team in the country and one of best teams in the GPAC?
Yeah, when we put the schedule together last year, we had 2 remaining dates available in mid-March. And we had just been snubbed for the national tournament. And I visited with another coach in our league who kind of rates our league, and he said, listen, you've got to strengthen your schedule a little bit. We'd already saw that we were going down to Morningside and Briarcliff, and I was like, where can we get a couple of tougher games? So we called around, and the Chicagoland had a couple of games that they were looking for, and St. X was one of them. And, they're obviously a year in and year out, very, very good team. And I said, well, we've got a senior team coming back, a lot of veteran players. We need an early test. Jamestown will be an early test, but we also need, and that was at home.
Right.
But like, we need to go on the road,
right,
and we need to have an early test. And so that's where that game came into play.
Okay.
And it worked out really well. We went down there, and I didn't know what to expect.
Right.
You watch them on film. They're a good team.
Yeah.
And I thought our kids just competed.
Absolutely.
And went, like you said, wire to wire with them on the road. That was the game when I walked away, and we didn't win, but I was like, we can compete at this level.
Absolutely.
Again, if we're engaged for 40 minutes. And, and the kids saw that too. And then the next night they were able to go beat Robert Morris, and they were able to string some things together. Yep. So coming back after break, playing Briarcliff and Morningside, 2 good teams, everybody was in the same boat. All the teams down there 2 days of practice.
Yeah.
Then you play 2 games.
Yeah.
You don't really sure what you're going to get.
Right.
So again, we talked to the kids about defending. You can defend.
Oh.
It's effort, it's attitude, it's
It was
toughness.
Unbelievable watching that game on the
And,
defensive end.
yeah.
It was awesome.
Gave up 62 the first night and gave up 60 the next night to a team that's averaging over 80 a game.
Yeah.
Because we just didn't know how we were going to shoot.
Really shut down their best shooter.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, she really struggled. I thought we did a nice job guarding the Hup kid from Morningside. So, and again, last year we used this time to springboard ourselves into conference play, and I feel like we're doing that right now. So, they're great wins. It's great to look back on them and say at the end of the year maybe use that as kind of like a marking point.
I get it. I get it.
Really sprungboard. But like we told the kids yesterday in practice or the other day in practice, if we're still talking about that, then we haven't done anything today.
Right.
We have to move on. Yep. Trinity Bible's who we play tomorrow.
Yep.
That's what we're locked in on, and then after that game we'll get ready for Waldorf and Viterbo. So the season keeps moving.
Yep.
You have to keep moving with it. You got to look far more at what's in front of you than what's behind
you. Absolutely. And you've hit the hammer on the head and kind of leads into my next thing. Tomorrow night, non-conference game with Trinity, and not to overlook them. It's the next one on the schedule, right? And you want your girls to play well and really rock and roll with conference, as you mentioned, coming in this weekend. Game tomorrow night against Trinity, and then Friday and Saturday it's Alumni Weekend and also Hoops Club Weekend for women's basketball this Friday and Saturday. With first 2 conference games on Friday and Saturday. And Coach, with that, you kind of, conference play means everything, right? Like you said, it's what you prepare for and things like that. Let's talk about the conference a little bit. What do you see? I know Bellevue's really strong again, obviously, and how much parity do you see within the conference, and how important is it going to be to come out and get some wins here in the Louis Lee this weekend as you open conference play?
Well, we talked about this, I think, in the first show. I think the league's got a lot more parity this year than it has in years past. I think it's better this year than in years past. The records might not indicate that, just simply because our league has to go play a lot of really, really good non-conference games against some really, really good teams. And so, but I think our league is stronger this year. I think Dakota State is a better team this year than last year. Bellevue's strong every year. Valley City is strong every year. Viterbo, who we play Saturday, is a better team this year than they were last year. So I think the league is stronger. I think there's more parity. And I think in every sport, if you have your sights set on winning a conference championship, you have to take care of business at home.
Right.
You have to. You just cannot afford to drop one at home.
Right.
Because it's so hard to go on the road in our league and win because of the back-to-back situation that our league plays with the Friday night, Saturday afternoon situation. So there's no question that the first, we obviously got one earlier on the road at PC, but these 2 kind of first ones are fortunate to be at home, but you got to take care of business at home. You really do. And you have to show up. The first thing we tell the kids, you got to show up mentally. You got to put in the time leading up to the game, the film, the extra shooting, the mental approach in practice. You need to be engaged every time that we're together. before the game begins, and then of course you need to be engaged when the game is going on. So yeah, I think it's very important that you take care of business at home because of how difficult it is to win on the road.
Right. And Coach, you talk about, being engaged, stepping up, taking care of home court and things like that. And you've alluded to it. We know it. Senior Ladin team, and it seems like so many different ladies are stepping up to the plate. Who in the first half of the season, kind of going into conference play, there's been a lot of different ladies that have stepped up and done a really good job. Who in your mind has really taken on, and I know they're all seniors, right? But who in your mind has really taken a leadership approach through this great first half of the season that you've had?
Yeah, I think it's been different players on different nights as far as the games go.
Mm-hmm.
We've had different leading scorers on different nights, different kids.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's a very important thing that you have production up and down your lineup, not just from one or two players. But from a consistency standpoint, Claire Blajic has had a great start to the year. She's leading the league in scoring.
Player of the week last week,
Player of the
right?
week last week, yep. She's leading the league in three-point shooting, and I believe she's leading the league in free throw percentage, and
Awesome.
she has, I believe, 50 assists to like 33 turnovers
Good
or
for
something
her.
like that. She's been consistently solid every night she has stepped on the floor. She's been really, really good for us.
Yeah.
Great leadership in the locker room, great leadership on the floor in practice. Her self-accountability has been outstanding. She's the first one to look here and say, my fault when we're doing stuff, and she's been a really good kind of steady leader for us. That's the one thing I really enjoy about Claire. She never gets too high, she never gets too low, and you just know what you're going to get from her every night out, both mentally and physically.
Yeah.
Kylie Hyrong is having a great start to the year. She's had numerous double-doubles. I believe she's been the player of the week within the league at one time or another once this in the fall here. She's really stepped up her game from last year, attacking a lot more. She has shot quite a few free throws. The rebounding has been very, very impressive. She had 17 rebounds, I believe, in the Morningside or the Briarcliff game this weekend. I can't remember what it was, but 17 rebounds. She's just absolutely been competing at both ends of the floor, night in and night out. She's done a really nice job, and she's been kind of a marked player. She was not marked last year.
Right.
I mean, she didn't play a lot as a freshman, and last year she was able to sneak up on some people, and she's one of those kids that's learning every night out that you're going to get the best defender probably on every team, and they're going to scout you and do different things, and so far she's handled it really well.
Yeah, it seems like she's adapted. She's been playing well.
And we've had other kids in other areas step up. Nicole Bunting has had games here and there where she has shot the ball
On
really
hand.
well. Yeah, she is. And she's a volume shooter and she's a volume scorer. I mean, Nicole can fill it up fast. I mean, and she did in the second quarter of that Morningside game. She hit like 3 really big threes for us in the second quarter, and she can fill it up really, really quick. So she's kind of a spark for us every now and then, and it's been seniors all the way through. Cyan Hale is another kid I look at. She's always going to guard the other team's best player. She's our number one lockdown defender. Yeah. Whenever we have a kid that we think on the perimeter is really, really tough guard, Cyan's going to guard that kid. And what I love about Cyan, she'll always say, "Let me guard."
Yeah.
That
Wants
kid.
it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
She
awesome.
just embraces that opportunity to be that lockdown defender, which we've talked about. So, and it's been through and through. There's been a lot of other kids. Alyssa Foster is playing a lot more right now and has hit some big shots for us as well, and is garnering some more minutes as she's getting more and more comfortable. Our 3-5s, Skillingstad, Champ, and Taylor Riley kind of rotate that spot between the three of them. Have all done a nice job. We rely on them so much defensively for the way that we play and what we do.
Right.
But like we've told them, it's a team effort. And everybody needs to step up. And maybe you're a kid that might not be garnering a lot of minutes right now, or maybe your role isn't where you want it to be. But when coach says, we need you to do this, are you willing to step up and do it to the best of your ability?
Right.
So far, they've been able to do that. And that, to me, is what a team is. Whatever's asked of you, you do it to the best of your ability as hard as you can for the benefit of the group.
Well, you talk about team, and you do such a good job with the ladies on team, on and off the floor. But I love the fact when I talk to you about leadership, who's leading, and you mentioned 8 to 10 different girls. And that's such an awesome problem to have. It's just a testament to how hard your girls been working, how well they've been playing, and it's been really fun to watch. Want to shift gears a little bit this weekend. Obviously, on the court's what matters so much, but Alumni Weekend for men and women's basketball. We also got the Hoops Club going, which we're excited about, and going to meet with those inaugural members. Breakfast Saturday morning, and honor them at halftime as well on Saturday. So, how important is to try to get some alumni back and see such the rich tradition that you've been here for a good little while now, and very competitive and good seasons. How nice is that, and how much do the girls feed off of that, and how excited are you about that this weekend?
Well, number one, I think it's really important.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's really important that we try to keep our alumni as connected as we can. We send out a newsletter every 2 to 3 weeks, just kind of updating people on the progress of the program through a variety of different ways, and we have an alumni list to try to keep them as connected as we can. I'm excited to have them come back. I mean, one of the things that we do talk to our players about when alums come back is the situation you're in now was created by all the players that came before you.
Very cool.
You might not ever get to meet them. You might not ever get to know their story. Okay, but understand that a path was paved for you to get to where you are, just like you're paving a way for future players to come through and hopefully have the same opportunities that you're having right now.
Yep.
And I think that that's really important, especially at a smaller school.
Absolutely.
Where the relationship and the commitment and the intimacy of the program, to me, should be made really close, because everybody's kind of either gone through the same situation as a former player and an alum, currently going through it, and then going to be an alum,
Yep.
and then certainly a future player down the road, or like a freshman on our team right now who
Yep.
still has 3 years left to play. So getting our alums involved is really important. I think the Hoops Club is going to be a great thing.
Excited about that.
Just to continue to be able to keep this program competing, not just on a conference level, but on a national
Absolutely.
level. We understand that there's a fundraising commitment that needs to go with that, and it truly does. And hopefully the Hoops Club and just the members and their commitment to our program will help us maybe kind of start to get ourselves headed in that right direction. So I'm really looking forward to meeting them, to being involved, to helping to come up with hopefully some fun new ways that we can help raise money for the program and create a great experience for players that come through.
Coach, I'll tell you, I couldn't be more excited about the Hoops Club. Numbers continue to rise. As of this morning, talked to Beth Swenson. So if you want to join the Hoops Club, please contact myself or Beth Swenson, another fundraising arm to help Coach Hutter and women's basketball program here at Mayville State. But it's going to be a great weekend. Coach, anything else you want to mention before we wrap up today? I have a feeling next time we'll talk will be coming down the pipe towards the end of the conference season and headed into hopefully conference tournament and that kind of thing. Anything you want to shoot out to Mayville supporters?
Yeah, I mean, just overall, I mean, if you haven't had a chance to come out to watch the kids play, I would encourage you to come out and watch the kids play.
Super good and super fun to watch.
And we say this a lot when we're together, whether it be at a social or at a funding event or something like that, but there's so much more to these kids than just their ability to play basketball.
Absolutely.
And one of the things that I'm most proud of is on the court, they're getting it done. We can see that by our record and our success, and we've been lucky to do that. But 3.49 team GPA for the first semester.
Absolutely.
We
awesome.
had, I think, 6 or 7 kids with 4.0 GPAs, just getting it done in the classroom as well.
That's great.
And then their commitment to the community, whether it's a Feed My Starving Children or whether it's a service day where they're going out and giving back to the community, whether it's helping out with youth basketball clinics, whatever it may be. I just really appreciate the effort of our kids, both on the floor, in the classroom, and certainly in the community. And we appreciate all the support that we've gotten from everybody. I would just encourage people that if you haven't had a chance to come out and watch them play, to come out and watch them play.
Definitely.
Because they're good players, but they're great kids.
Amazing young ladies. Absolutely. Coach doing an awesome job, and excited for tomorrow right here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tomorrow night.
Fun to be at home.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Get not travel so much for 1 week.
Absolutely.
But home tomorrow night, doubleheader, men and women against Trinity Bible. And then Friday, Saturday, both right here as we enter conference play for men and women's basketball. Coach, I appreciate you taking the time. I know you're busy.
Yep.
And
That's right.
good luck rest of the season.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.